Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel's Finding Value. We're going to be looking at uranium 1 year performance on a lot of the companies that are in the sector. I'm going to give you my opinion on which ones I am overweighted in, which ones I think could potentially do very well going forward, and the reasoning why. So let's dive in. This is the 1 year performance of uranium companies, and I tried to group them. I grouped them up in kind of the American ones, we'll call it African ones, and then we got some random ones kind of all thrown together. We've got some uranium exploration, Canadian exploration ones put together, some of the Canadian developers. And I'll let you know what those are when we go through them so you guys can figure out which ones that you may want to partake in or participate in. And again, these returns does not mean future performance. I'll try to kind of get into that. So we've got the upper left here. These are the American ones right here. We've got Uranium Energy Corporation, that's UEC. This is URG. UUUU. Encore Energy is ENCUF. And Uranium Royalty Corporation is UROY, UROY. Now, you can see the graphs up here and how they've kind of made their ascents. And it's important to look at what I consider to be the bounce, how much volatility these things have. I am more attracted to the more volatile companies, but I also have the mindset to ride through things even if I'm down or up, and I like to cost average into positions. But looking at this, and just looking, it looks like UEC doesn't have as much bounce as, say, Uranium Royalty Corporation. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that going forward that will be the case, but more than likely it probably will be. Of the ones in this group, I own and have overweighted Encore Energy, which is ENCUF, and I've established positions in Uranium Royalty Corporation. I do have small positions in these other ones, but they're not really anything to write home about. These, I overweighted Encore a good amount back in September, October of 2020. Looking at some of the African developers, that's what these are. Again, this is the 1 year average. This is Bannerman, BNNLF, Deep Yellow, DYLLF, Forces Metals, FOSYF, Global Atomic, that's GLATF, and Goviax Uranium, GVXFF. I have overweighted all of these companies in my portfolio, all of the African ones. As you can see, there's a couple of laggards here. The two laggards are Deep Yellow and Goviax. I do think that they could perform well going forward. They've got a lot of resistance right where they're at. Global Atomic has really run pretty well. Forces has done pretty well, and same with Bannerman. Bannerman seemed to be the one that people did not like in 2020 when it was at its bottoms. That's when I started overweighting it and buying into it. I was, I guess, maybe a contrarian among the contrarians back then. But the reason they don't like some of these companies is the assets that they have may be lower grade. They may take more capex to get them going. And Namibia is in a good spot, and that's what these first three are in terms of permitting and getting things moving. So I actually like him, but before they were kind of, I don't know, they weren't as seen as good as some of the other companies. And these are the ones that I overweighted. Global Atomic, there was a lot of people that like that one, but the other ones, yeah, they're good. I like them. Now, looking at these down here, this is again the 1 year. These are Canadian uranium exploration companies on this side here. You can see that the returns here, and don't worry about Standard Uranium, it has some funky data there. But you can see kind of the returns that they have. They are lower on average than a lot of the African and American developers. And this is where I'm kind of getting more interested in because they've been lagging behind. And I think the explorers are going to be lagged a little bit. The ones that haven't found anything yet. So these guys, I'm adding in a little bit of fission. And guys, these are very small positions. These are uranium exploration companies, but Fission 3.0, that's FISOF. Canalaska Uranium is CVVUF. Sky Harbor is SYHBF. Standard Uranium is STTDF. And Baseload is BSENF. If you guys are buying OTC in America. But of these, I own a little bit in each, and I've overweighted Baseload. Is the one that I overweighted. Looking at this, we've got ISO Energy, ISENF, Asian Court, AZURF, Fission Uranium Company, FCUUF, NextGen, NXE, and Denison Mines, DNN. I do own a little bit in all of these. I did overweight NextGen in the beginning, and I did overweight Fission. I have a normal or kind of a normal position on Denison Mines. I don't have anything big in it. And same with these other ones. These are two exploration companies, and these are developing companies. And ISO has found something in its Hurricane project, and it is in a little. I think it's probably going to be in a little bit more tougher area to mine, but I did put a little bit in there. It's just riding higher. Looking at some more, we've got the 1 year Consolidated Uranium. I'm trying to remember what the ticker symbol is. It's CUR.V, but I can't remember what the actual OTC ticker symbol is. Camco, CCJ, Laramide, LMRXF. Boss Energy is BQSSF, and Peninsula Energy is PENMF. I have overweighted Laramide a little bit. I do not own a lot in Consolidated Uranium. I own nothing in Camco. And I don't own anything, or trying to remember, I might own no, I don't own anything in these two either, I don't think. And you can see that Consolidated Uranium's done very well. And then we've got these over here, Centrus Energy Corporation. That one is LEU. Blue Sky Uranium is BKUCF. Pure Point Uranium is PTUUF, and UEX Corporation is UEXCF. I've been buying UEXCF. I do own a little bit in Pure Point. I do own some in Blue Sky, and I don't own any in LEU, even though it's performed pretty well. So those are the uranium 1 year. Those are the returns that we've got over the past year. Some of the high performers. Does it mean that they're going to continue to be high performers? Not necessarily. The ones that I like buying are the ones that are kind of stuck at its resistance level and they're about to break. Something like a Deep Yellow, DYLLF, UEXCF is another one. I think some of these uranium exploration companies could do pretty well. I'm not going to put a whole bunch of money in them. They do carry more risk. They may not find anything. So I'm putting a strategy where I'm taking all of them, grouping them kind of together, and then divvying up a bunch of money and just putting a little bit in each. That's kind of how I've been playing it. And you guys can play it whichever way you want, but that's how I've been playing it. I'll give you guys, I'll show you what my returns are in my personal portfolio over a 1 year time frame to show you guys what my performance is on my real portfolios. I'll do 3 of my portfolios that are in these types of companies. You can see what my performance is. I'll open that up for the duration of 1 year, since that's about what the channel's been open. And you can see why you should be finding value or following me, or maybe you guys are outperforming me. That's fine too. But I'm segregated in uranium, oil, in precious metals, and some base metals like copper, tin, maybe a few others that I have mixed in my portfolio. But the majority of these companies that you're seeing up here, I own the majority of them, probably 80 or 90%. So I've overweighted, and I continue to like, and I think that they will outperform the African companies. So that is what I like. That is what I prefer to overweight, and they seem to be a very good value. It doesn't mean that they're ever going to reach value parity to some of these other, we'll call it, different jurisdictions and different grades. They may never reach parity, but it just seemed like to me that the higher cost producers were the ones that I wanted to kind of focus on, because that's where I think the highest returns could potentially be when uranium was to break higher. We still have a lot of runway in front of us in terms of valuation that uranium can go up on the physical metal. So I am still very positive on this sector. I still think that there are a lot of returns that can be had in these sectors. These being the ones that I'm participating in, the commodities bull market. Uranium, same thing. It's probably one of the best. So I'm not looking at the financial. I'm not looking at the Sprott physical uranium trust to push it forward. I'm looking at the supply demand characteristics and fundamentals that can push it forward with the enhancement of the financials coming in and buying even more. So I'm looking at that as a supplement, not necessarily as the driver. And I know some other channels, when you kind of listen to them, they're looking at that as the driver and not necessarily the supplement. So that's the way that I view it. If you guys like this content, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And thank you for listening. This is Finding Value.